Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to another episode of Changing the Questions, the show where we take one question and then we dissect it, probably more than we should.
Just like Rick Fart.
My name is Paul Laporte. Joining me again for this round, my co-host Mike Miner.
Hi guys.
Dominic Schmidt.
What up, bro?
And Dan Peruzzi.
Still saying go Broncos.
And we are back again to have a kind of part B to the episode that we did on the most underrated wrestler, who is the most overrated wrestler of all time. Now, again, kind of similar to our underrated discussion, this is very loosely interpreted. You can kind of use whatever criteria you want to justify why you think this person is overrated, whether it's in terms of fan adulation, achievements they've earned, or some other criteria. Newbie Dominic, you said we should lay down some ground rules beyond that, so what do you think?
No to the eyes, no to the groin, no to the spine, no to the Hulk Hogan, and no to the John Cena.
No spike.
Hulk Hogan and
no
John
spike
Cena
in
the
the head.
only two that we're leaving out of that?
I want to leave out Ric Flair, but somebody can probably make a good argument against me. And I would punch them in the mouth, but I keep hearing it more and more.
So you want to leave out Hulk Hogan and John Cena just because you feel like they're the most obvious picks?
They're the most...
Honestly,
yeah.
I don't think anybody here is going to use that, is going to say that
I think we
anyways.
all know at least a little bit enough that we can name a different overrated wrestler.
Exactly.
I just think that will spiral down into a staircase of despair.
Fair enough. Okay, so no Hulk Hogan, no John Cena. Any other recommendations?
No, I think that's it.
Okay. All right, so let's go ahead and start off. Who wants to go first?
I'll start.
Shane Douglas is underrated. Oh wait, no, wrong show.
I think the most overrated wrestler of all time is Hulk Hogan.
Well played,
And
sir.
no one
True
saw
heel
that coming.
fashion, breaking his own rules.
Wow.
So if I had to pick somebody
Changing the question, changing the rules.
who really I think kind of fits most overrated, and I feel like I might get some hate for this. Rikishi? I think
Okay.
Rikishi's overrated.
Okay.
I think I look back at the Armageddon Hell in a Cell match, and I'm just like, man, that could have been
He was the odd man
anybody.
out. Yeah.
He's the odd man out, and he was that guy that just like never in my mind made it to the level of those guys that I would consider great from the Attitude Era. But for some reason, he's still somebody that people like mention like he was like hot shit, and I
Went to the Hall of Fame last year.
I was going to
Right,
say, I think
yeah.
he was a lovable character, if anything, but he was very solid in the ring. He wasn't ever, as far as I'm concerned, going to reach the top of that company or any company that's huge, but he was very solid.
He was all right in the ring. His matches were like kind of the same thing, and it was okay. So
There's a lot of guys like that.
which isn't, I guess it isn't that good of an argument, but just like, all right, he takes the clothesline from somebody who's stronger than him and he does the flip. All right, he's wrestling a heel, he puts his ass in their face. He's got a pretty dope Samoan drop with the one arm, the way that like Roman's doing it now, which is, it looks better than
The
this.
sit-up pile driver was cool too. He's a cool finisher.
Yeah.
He puts a mask on, shaves his head, he does a camel clutch. Okay.
The thing is, nothing really resonated with me as far as like, this guy was like, he's dancing in the ring with kids, he's got fans, and like they try to let the Usos ride his coattails, and I'm just like, they're completely different styles of wrestling. Like, JBL's like, just like their daddy Rikishi, and I'm just like,
top rope tope, yeah.
which part? Which part of this is Rikishi? He didn't eat a whole chicken, then come down here.
Well, I see the merit, and on the flip side, I see the merit in attaching them to him just because they're his kids.
Yeah,
And they're an extension of him in a way. And before he got really big, he was one of the head shrinkers. He was moving around, flying around pretty good, and not to the level of the Usos for sure, but he was, like I said, he was very solid in ring, and as far, I'm not gonna you can say he's overrated. I'm not going to argue that he was overrated or underrated. He was just there. He had his niche. He filled it, and that was it.
Again, maybe it's just me that thinks he was overrated. It just seems like one of those guys that, like, honestly, if they didn't bring him up all the time, I think he's rather forgettable.
He came. You know what's funny is, like, I remember when he debuted. He debuted on a Sunday Night Heat, and he was just Rikishi Fatu, and then not so long after, maybe within the month, he got teamed up, and it kind of happened.
Yeah, it was
weird.
weird.
It was kind of incidental. Like he happened.
Like
to get
they were
teamed
almost
up
trying to make him like Yokozuna too.
It just kind of happened.
And then all
like,
of a sudden
yeah.
he just like
It kind of happened with Too Cool, and it caught on, and that was it. And like the rest is history. Because if he wasn't teamed up with those guys, I guarantee it probably wouldn't have gone too far unless he was a heel and he was smashing everybody in his way.
The thing is, they also they try to push the
younger, better Yokozuna.
Push the Usos onto Rikishi's coattails. But then I think about it, and the only reason Rikishi was in the main event of stuff was because they tried to push Rikishi onto the Rock's coattails.
Yeah,
and I'm just like, would he have gotten the same kind of rubs and the same kind of everything off of merit alone, or did they need somebody to fill that void? And they're like, this kind of works in a weird kayfabe way. Let's go with that. I don't know. That's just my pick.
It was definitely weird seeing him as a heel in that way. As far as he hits Steve Austin with the car, and it's just, I think at that time he was just the guy that needed to fill that spot, and they used him, and he did okay. But as far as going beyond that, I don't think there was ever a plan for that. I just think they wanted somebody to fill that spot, and he filled it nicely for the time.
I can't wait to find out.
And then he teamed with Haku, and then that went nowhere, and
I can't wait to find out that Rikishi beat up Hideo Itami. And he did that for The Rock, too.
Oh, man.
Although his motives are still in question.
I might have said the same thing months ago, too. It was Rikishi. He did it for The Rock.
Okay.
I did it for The Rock.
Who wants to step up next?
Step up and get shot down.
I'll say a name that I'm not sure I fully agree with. Psycho Sid.
Okay.
Because this is a guy who 2-time WWF champion, 1-time WCW, I think.
1 or 2 times.
I mean, he looked the part, and I feel like that was about it.
Did Sid go over Hogan?
I believe so. At one point, yeah.
I'm pretty sure. And I think he lost immediately after. But yeah, as Sid Justice, right?
Yeah.
As a kid watching wrestling, he terrified me. I actually had a recurring nightmare of him stalking me.
He was the ruler of your world.
He's the ruler of the master
and the ruler.
The master ruler of your world, the master of the power bomb.
I had a recurring dream of him terrorizing me in a McDonald's play place. That sounds bad. That sounds bad.
Dan is
that's
he is
a
not
terrifying dream. If I had that today,
you know the little animal with this that's on the one spring that goes back and forth. He was sitting on that watching me. It was terrifying.
Maybe this happened in real life, and you're just repressing it.
This is
Hear it changing the therapy.
So
it's like when Sid had the whole shtick in ECW back in the day when he came in for a little bit and he walked out and he just terrorized wrestlers by smashing them and powerbombing them, except he went into a McDonald's for him.
So I guess he filled his role, but looking back on it now, it's like...
So I have a good Sid story, sort of, as a third hand. Not as good as that, although this does have the benefit of having actually happened. And I'm going to try and get the details correct. This is actually from my friend Scott Fellows, who has been on the show before. He told me the story. I did not see this firsthand. This is a secondhand story about Sid. But when Scott was working for IWS in Montreal, Sid did a guest spot there. Okay. So they had him, come out and had him kind of cut a promo to the audience. And so I'm sure Scott will correct me, but I want to say that the amount of time he went with his promo was 45 minutes.
Are you serious?
He talked.
He can talk that
for
long?
45 45 minutes, and maybe it wasn't. Maybe it was 20, but I really like. I don't think 20 would have been like has stuck in my mind as hard. But just talked for like, and everybody like respected him enough that they just kind of let him do it. And like, how are you gonna like, fucking get the hook out for?
He's got Psycho in his name. Yeah. You're gonna interrupt that guy?
Kane came out and interrupted him and said, "Yeah, wrap it up." And
yeah, Mr. T.
Psycho Sid loves his mama. It's not his fault.
Yeah. So that's my Sid story. Sid's a good one.
Why didn't I hear that before now?
Yeah, that's 45-minute promo.
Wow.
About
Sid,
what?
I don't know. Scott, like I said, Scott
I think he's trying to make up for
all
all the shit that he's done in the past where he screwed up promos.
Yeah.
I heard it was like some real super. I mean, like for 45 minutes, it's got to be like some super rambling
45
bullshit.
minutes about the intricacies of seizing the means of production.
And how he's the new Caesar.
I thought you were going to say the intricacies of seasoning meat.
Intricacies of being Caesar in the new ruler of the world.
Okay, do you want to go mine or you want me to go?
You know what? You go. I'm kind of like I'm just writing off of you guys.
So
right
you guys have kind of gone back a little bit. I'm going to stick more in the modern. This is actually a much tougher question.
Oh, okay, I thought you were going to say Gorgeous George, and I was going to say fuck you, buddy.
No, this is a much tougher question to me than underrated. But the three that I pick, and I think I'm going to go with like increasing levels of how unpopular this is going to make me.
So this one I can count for number 3.
Sure. All right, number 3, Dolph Ziggler. All right, there we go.
Slap.
Okay, so maybe 3 and 2 are interchangeable. But Dolph Ziggler, the reason is, everybody touts this guy up as he's like some sort of amazing worker, and he's like really amazing at selling, and he could sell for like those are the Dolph Ziggler selling memes and whatever. Here's the thing, like he's fine in the ring, like he's good, but as far as selling goes, like yeah, anytime you hit the guy, he looks like he's been in a fucking car crash.
Hey, wait, let's be honest. Dolph Ziggler was so good at selling that he made you think that Kenny from the Spirit Squad was going to be the popular one that stayed around and won the championship, and it was Dolph Ziggler.
Yeah.
There you go.
So you're just saying that because he oversells so much?
No. It's not because he oversells. It's because he sells like whenever he's touched, he gets hit by like he's been hit by a car.
Shawn Michaels SummerSlam.
Okay.
Selling.
Yeah, I was going to mention that.
Yes. So that's fine, and like I'm okay with that.
Shawn was such a
However,
dick at
as
that point.
soon as you know, right after he's been hit and been in that car crash, when he has to go on offense, forgets everything. Like he's never been touched, like he's never been hit in his life. Like as soon as he goes on offense, like he just forgets everything. And
So
that's the thing.
psychologist.
Yeah, that's the thing. He's
in.
bullshit. He's really good. He's like really good with moves. He's really good with being hit by stuff. He's good with moves and he's good with bumping, but I don't think he's a good wrestler and I don't think he's a good seller. And those are the reasons why. And everybody kind of points to him like Dolph, like, oh my god, like they're holding back Dolph. Like, nah, Dolph is probably exactly where he should be.
He's a great punching bag and he's fun to watch. But yeah, you're right. He just sort of hits that zigzag like it's the start of the match.
Yeah, exactly.
Or-
and you know, John Cena does the same thing, and a lot of guys do the same
John
thing.
Cena does
John
the
But
same
John
Cena's
Cena
way
isn't.
more guilty of
John
it
Cena
than
isn't. But John Cena isn't.
No, there's rules.
No, but
You broke it already.
But John Cena isn't known for being a great seller, and Dolph Ziggler is, and I just don't think he is. He's good at flopping around when he's been hit. The same way that like.
Let's be honest.
He's
the
a
zigzag
noodly man.
The zigzag's a shit finish. I've
Yeah,
never gotten
No,
behind
I
the
like it.
zigzag.
I'm
You
for
like
it.
the zigzag? What?
I like
Just
the
slamming a
zigzag.
dude's
I
head in
think-
the back of the mat?
No,
I mean,
it's
it's-
fine. It's fine.
I'm not. You know. I
Also,
never got behind it.
also, as a quick aside, if we're talking about not complete package, but just a certain aspect of a wrestler that's overrated, Undertaker's promos are awful. Also,
Also his entrances.
No. Don't you shit on that. His promos are
the both of you.
fine. The thing is,
they're awful.
there's rarely anything that he needs to be talking
Right,
about.
and that's fine. But everybody at
but
times,
they try to make him talk.
Yeah,
like that whole
exactly.
Big Show promo
Trying to
is
give-
so bad.
yeah, trying to give a microphone is bad. We already kind of discussed The Rock. Like we dedicated a whole episode to The Rock, but I think his promos are overrated.
I'm
his
going to
recent
make
ones.
an argument for the Undertaker just because I'm a big Undertaker fan.
go for it.
Back in his prime, he could cut better promos. He has cut better promos. whether he was in the biker gimmick, whether he was in the
Okay,
the
okay.
Ministry of the Lord of Darkness.
Zombie-
The last 10 years, I'm not going to say the zombie thing where he's doing promos as a zombie were great. They really worked.
Like you like
Paul Bearer was the mouthpiece for a reason.
step into
There
the
was a
dark
big-
side, you will rest in peace.
was
This is
very-
my yard. I'll whip your ass.
But he
That's it.
shouldn't
But
have
he
been
was-
saying too much.
Right, that's fine. yeah, but people act like
But
like
he could get a crowd riled up. He could get his point across.
Mm-hmm.
He could put his opponent over. He could put himself over. And he did his job. But I'm going to make an argument in the other direction. The last 10 years, he's been on the Undertaker Greatest Hits tour for the last 10 years. He's been part-time. He's gone, and then the last 5-6 years, he's come around once a year. So him giving a promo is just like, it's like, oh, here's the Undertaker. Here's the old-timey stuff to get the match going. That's it. That's all it feels like.
Okay.
But, what it comes down to at this point is, him wrestling the matches, and that's it.
Taker's a body language guy, and,
Yeah,
and I think that's where.
pretty
no,
much
and that's
it.
like that's
And-
fine. But like I said, people kind of I've heard people just kind of talk about like that his promos are good or something, and it's like
They're
no,
repetitious the
never
last
happened.
5-6 years, and that's it.
Okay, so getting back to my main list.
Yeah.